Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode with novelties on the series of Del Resto. Today's episode is titled Tigueraje. I do apologize if I am mispronouncing it. It is a Dominican slang term, as you guys have seen on the posts already. But before we begin, I'd like to welcome Bablu onto the show today.
Hey, hi, how's everyone doing? My name is Bablu. I'm a presenter, content creator, public speaker. I've worked with Cardiff City, Youth Music, Cardiff Music Festival. Yeah, a lot of different organisations and media outlets in Wales. And I'm here to join in some indulgent conversation with my life. Yeah, man, it's gonna be fun. I enjoy talking about life. I enjoy kind of doing deep dives, so this is gonna be fun.
Thank you so much. It's an absolute honor to have you, and I really hope you enjoyed this
No, I'm on it.
episode.
I'm on it, bro. She was like, "Do you want to be on?" I was like, "Yes." I didn't let her finish. Yes, 100% yes. Please, I like chatting.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so to begin today, we are starting with the definition of Tigueraje and why it is so relevant and has become the core of this episode. So it's one of those words that don't really translate very clearly because it isn't just a definition, or at least the way that I viewed it is that it's more of a way through moving through the world. It's an attitude, an instinct, a self possession of emotional sharpness, and a kind of internal intelligence that you don't necessarily learn the same way you learn like academic things. It's more of something that you earn while experiencing life to the fullest. And so, with this confidence that you carry, it's kind of like the pride, but without the ego trip that comes with it. And it's about knowing how to carry yourself and to move with intention, to choose yourself and boldly. Because this isn't about loud confidence. Confidence that is true does not need an audience. It's the showing up with intention because you understand the weight of your choices, and it's staying aware without becoming an overly suspicious and paranoid person. Because in a way, I feel like that this persona of Tigueraje is the thread that's always been running through everything that I experience in life. And I don't know if this would be very relatable to everyone watching, but um, Bablu and I have been having a very extensive conversation in terms of the questioning of why. And I gained this clarity right after recording the first episode. I already had this title named, but by focusing the context of the conversation into this title name, it gave me, it made it real. It made it so real. And so, yeah, this is what we're discussing today, and I am absolutely so excited to have you on. And yeah, so please let us know how the conversation ran, if you would like.
On the why?
Yes, yes.
Damn, I don't know if I can fully remember. As in, what is our why?
The concept of questioning why.
Why? Oh,
And
okay.
like it's that we use it as a method to explore anything deeper and become more curious and analytical and intentional through that.
Yeah, yeah, it's nice. I think why again, as we've said before, and had a brief conversation, the why is in everything kind of we do, and especially in newer things that we may do that don't know how much they may or may not align with us. I am going to strip it back down a little bit in terms of like to people at home who may or may not know what is your why, because I feel like that's such a big thing, and kind of the conversation we had earlier as well on regards to and this kind of ties into a little bit of purpose. Like, what is your why? Why do you do the things that you do? Why do you associate the things that you do? Why is it that this happens to me in life? Why is it that this happens to, do you know what I'm saying? And a lot of the times we feel like we don't have answers, or a lot of the times we feel a bit kind of misguided in our own selves, and it's kind of like, why is this all happening to me? Why is this happening to me? What I would say for people at home is, when you're in a conversation with yourself and you're wondering why, like, why is this happening? What did I do to deserve this? Or why on earth is this happening to me? You're actually in a really good place. You're actually in a really good place to meet yourself and figure out things that you may have never addressed before. Things like, kind of your mental well-being. I remember there was one time when I woke up. Yeah, it's very personal, but I woke up and I kind of figured out, why am I doing the things I'm doing? I'm going out every single day with my mates with no purpose, no idea, just messing around, and I'm not serving nothing. That's not what I'm meant to be doing. I love conversing and I love chatting to people. I love making people laugh. Like, I'm made to make connections and converse. And right now I'm spending my days doing Lord knows what with friends who I probably won't see after sixth form. For what? For social gain. It doesn't mean anything. And I woke up one day and I remember asking myself, why? Like, why am I doing that? And what is it that I want to do? And I think there is a beautiful power in why, because it makes you question. And I think life is so beautiful that we can question and then explore. Do you know what I mean? Like, we can be like me, I'm naturally curious, yeah. I'm like Curious George, innit? Like, I'm very much like, oh my days, what does that do? Oh, what does that do? Oh, what? That's crazy. That does that. Okay, yeah, nice. And sometimes you can be too curious where you can go down a rabbit hole. But I think the beauty with the why is also making sure that you find the clarity. You know, there is an element of question, 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 but then there needs to become a clarity, because otherwise everything will make no sense. Right? So you'll be like, why this, why this, why this, why this, why this, why this, and then you get no clarity. And the way you find clarity is your goal. What is your goal? What is your purpose? What is it you want to achieve at the end of this year? For example, you might set out that I want to really focus on my family this year. I want to really focus on my family this year. That's your goal. Like, your not like your kids, but like your family, your siblings, your parents, whatever. What does that look like? And then you work backwards. That looks like, okay, cool. Maybe I do work 90 hours in the week. Maybe one day a week I'm gonna set aside just for my family. Then you might come at a crossroad where it's like, oh, you got a really good opportunity because you're work driven, but then also your family are at home. What decision are you going to make? Well, if you've had the purpose and the goal, then that gives you the clarity. You know what I'm saying? So I think, in regards to the why, and I'm sorry if I made this really long winded, but why is good and it makes you question things. But I think why also makes sense with the clarity. But yeah, I don't know if that answered.
That was absolutely well said. Thank you so much. That was it was in essence what kind of really grabbed my attention. I was like, I really like it when I'm talking about a theory or a concept that feels so internalized, so personal and so unique to my personal experience. And then I'm like, oh, someone can like really closely tie themselves to this. And so it feels very, feeling part of a group in terms of exploring life and figuring out what to do is always awesome. So yes, thank you for that reiteration. It was absolutely wonderful. And this directly reads into the duality concept of the term of Tigueraje that I was just explaining to you. This persona, or the slang term that has been developed into a persona, has both positive and negative connotations. And how I interpreted it is that through the balance of this bad and good connotation that you can get is how you develop this Tigueraje persona. And the balance required becomes more powerful than a destructive thing to kind of guide you forward. And that also gives you some view into how sometimes being labeled as this type of person can be can make you look like the bad guy.
Mm.
And I realized that there is a level of discernment. Again, with the fact that I've had this emotion, I've had this experience flow through me, and I'm like, okay, but sometimes it really makes you look more leaning to the bad. And so recently I've watched something that made it more clear to me that it's not so much of a judgment, it's more of a discernment. And that's what makes you look like the bad guy. When the reality is it's not really judging the action, it's more of pattern recognition. And exactly how you were just mentioning, that if you were in a certain circle, let's say, and you're like, I have a certain thing, certain goal that I would like to achieve, whatever it was, you know, just the fact that you want to move from point A to point B in your life. And, you know, naturally, you have, hopefully, I really hope that everyone does have a support system to get there, irrespective of your own self, as a support system to your own self. And so if you were in this type of group that you feel like would hang out and do absolutely nothing for a really long time, and you're like, okay, but now my weekend's gone, or like my Friday's gone, and this could have been easily used to better my position in trying to get this goal. And this type of pattern recognition, it was funny because I was explaining it to my friend, and I was like, it's like intuition with receipts. You can see it, and the ability to see this, the energy that flows through or underneath the words, or like the actual actions that you see, and the motive behind the behavior, the truth within the performance. And this kind of strip makes this plot twist that I've discovered, let's say, very funny, but also in terms of you stop taking things so personally. Um, People who lack self-awareness will always project that onto the person who has it. And so this discernment quality comes off very often as being judgy, or being too uptight, or not very easygoing with people around you. And I don't think that you're doing too much. If this is what your gut is pushing you toward, if this is what you're feeling throughout on multiple occasions, then I think it's okay to be like, I am noticing things that they are so okay with ignoring, but that is not where I want to be right now. And that's okay. And if it makes you a villain in that room where denial has become a culture, then it's okay. Because I think your truth in your journey is what matters the most.
Yeah, 100%. Do you think sorry, I'm putting this back onto you just because I'm intrigued. Do you think a lot of people, because I feel like this villain thing comes up a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like a lot of people don't want to be a villain, and even though they considered one, do you think that happens a lot? That people are, I guess, vilified?
I don't want to generalize it, but I more of want to say, as someone who is known to, I guess, like, rounds back to boundaries again, who knows when I feel like my boundaries have been way too overpassed, or like I am the type of person who would step on my feelings and be like, I am not comfortable in this place. I will take myself out of it. And obviously it has to be a super extreme thing.
But what does that make you a villain?
I think the fact, or at least this is how I feel like it's been going, the fact that I, again, point out things, I pattern recognize, I state things that people have buried very deep down, where their conscious is no longer on the surface of it, and I'm pointing out the conscious. I'm being like, hey.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's liked very much, and I come off being judgmental in a very bad way.
So they kind of, everyone else ignores it, but you point it out.
Yeah. I'm a very, very blunt pointing out person, and it's put me in a lot of situations that I don't think everyone would like to be put in.
Okay, I still don't think that means you're a villain. I think For me, listen, bro, the way I see it and the way I see life is everyone's got their story and everyone has their side of why they do what they do. I think for us as humans, it's just about finding a common ground.
Yes.
And I think even in regards to if you're in a position, not saying you, but if you're in a position that you think that that people think they're a villain, well, quite frankly, they aren't your people. Do you know what I mean? And I'll be so real, yeah. I argue with my sister in it, right? I'm being real. I argue with my sister. Do you know what I'm saying? And there's times where she's like, "Oh, you're an egg." I'm like, "No, you're an egg. Yeah, you're such an egg, bruv." And the point being is, time will pass. The time will pass, and if you, what you were saying earlier, if you stick to your beliefs, and if your beliefs, this is another thing I need to think, if your beliefs are pure, like the good intention, the goodwill, then the right people, the right tribe will follow. And the people that you need to kind of unleash and move in your wake, I don't know, but in your, in your journey, well, that's just natural. That's just, it's like, think of it like, oh bro, those little tractors that clean the leaves. Do you know what I mean? It's like that. Like you're just going slowly. You're not doing aggressively. You're just like, I'm just cleaning the streets, and that's fine. And that doesn't mean you're a villain. It just means you're growing. And when you're growing, naturally, there will be people who might be intimidated, and there will be people. Not saying everyone is, but there will be people who are intimidated, and there will be people who don't get it. And naturally, if you are on another journey to someone else, well, then you're all just going to go your own ways. My advice, do it with grace, do it with love, do it with respect. And screw them, man. The hell, like, leave me alone, bro. Like, what the hell? Like, do you know what I mean? And then just go about your business, man. Because I'm telling you from experience, I've had that experience of kind of having everyone and not feeling like you have everyone, and then not having no one, and then finding my people. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's just kind of how it goes. And in life, it's just about, do you know what I mean? You find the person or the people that you really, really, really connect with. That's what life's about. Part of the beautiful thing about life is finding.
Yes.
It's not the treasure. It's the search. Do you know what I mean? It's the hunt. It's like, oh, we're on an adventure. That's what life's about. It's not about just being there, because once you get to that destination, it's like, oh crap, what now? Part of it's the searching. It's the like, ooh, this might be a booby trap. Ooh, dude.
Yeah.
So it's just, yeah, man. You might meet Captain Hook, but you might also meet Tinkerbell, which is great.
That is very, very nice.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah.
That is very nice. To wrap up the introduction, kind of elongated introduction.
Yeah, sorry.
The discernment can make you a villain in rooms where denial is a culture. And I said that, and I will repeat it because I believe that wholeheartedly now. And that's genuinely just because you pick up on inconsistencies. And suddenly you're negative because you see red flags early. And I don't think that's an issue. I think discernment is wonderful to have in your bag of nice traits. So, so yeah, that's what that is. To move on to the first segment of this episode, I've titled this Newport because I had this revelation conversation that kind of kicked off the idea for the segment with my friends in Newport. So yeah, here's to Newport.
Okay.
Nice. As we have mentioned very early on, that a big part of this episode is the questioning of why. Why we are the way we are, why certain patterns repeat, why certain feelings stay, why some disappear. And asking why is sometimes uncomfortable, sometimes revealing, and I think that it's always necessary regardless. You can't evolve without curiosity. You can't meet your true self without interrogating the version of you that's running on autopilot. The deeper you go into questioning why, the closer you get to your core, the honest, the unpolished, the unprotected version of you. For the theory that has been developed for this segment of Newport, it is very important to question why if you want to find out how to have a better relationship with yourself, and more importantly, how to cultivate an energy and a reality of self love.
Mm,
And the starting point to all of this, as I told you a little bit before we started recording, is that 2 years ago, someone asked me a question that I still think about. And it's, would you actually enjoy spending every single day with yourself? And I don't mean that in the lonely
oh,
way.
was it every day? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't mean that in the lonely way. Loneliness and solitude are very different, and I have talked about that before. So check out the episode. But I mean it in the sense of, can you tolerate your own company? Can you your own thoughts, your emotional patterns, and without the need of having someone else kind of carve out the edges for you every now and then. And I think if your answer was no, or that the person that had asked you this question, or anyone around you that would like guide you through this question, is pushing you to arrive to no, I think that that is a deeply wrong person to surround yourself with.
Yeah.
Because you can't say no. Like, it's, I think that at a very core, it just makes you feel like, what inside you that makes you truly and like so scared to your core that you're like, no, absolutely not. I will not spend every single day with myself.
So for me, I'm like you. Like I could spend. Like I'm quite happy spending time alone. Like I like just really. If it was just me, I'd have a good time. Like do you know what I mean? I'll bust jokes, I'll dance, I'll sing. If I was in this room alone, do you know what I mean? Like I'm a rapper, I'm a singer, I'm an MC, I'm everything. But towards the other side, I think for me it depends on context. I think if you can't spend time alone in the sense that, like I said, there's two sides to it. There's a side of it where it's internal, and there's a side where it's external, right? So the internal side is like, yeah, man, I can spend time alone, right? But also in the external sense, some of the most beautiful in life are the things that are shared. So like for example, like I could do a month. I could probably do like a couple of months. But eventually you're gonna have that longing, you're gonna have that longing of a friend, not a foe, a friend, a mate, a partner, whatever it may be. You will, because we're human. Same time, I think the question is, can you be by yourself? I think that's a different question, because a lot of people have a lot of demons and traumas that they really cannot face. Which is why everything we do in nowadays is faced with external validation, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's faced with like, oh, I need to do this, 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 and this, and run away from my problem. So I'm so busy working, I'm doing X, Y, and Z, and I'm climbing a mountain, I'm doing this, not realizing that it's our internal that we're avoiding, right? At the same point, there's an element where you can be so to yourself that you're scared of opening up, right? Because there's another side of people who, yeah, I can be myself, I like being by myself, but then you gotta ask yourself why. Do you know what I mean? Like, why? Why do you like being by yourself so much to the point that you don't want no one around? That means there's an element of vulnerability or a barrier that you don't want no one to access. Again, I'm going on a tangent because I feel like I love that question, and I'm sorry, I get sorry for the viewers because I like breaking this stuff down, right? But I don't think it's as black as black and white, because for me, especially the human mind and how we all are, we're all so different, and we all have different triggers and all that kind of stuff. Like for example, me, I love being by myself, but at the same time, the thing that gives me the most happiness is sharing something with someone, whether that be a conversation, whether it be laughing, whether that be an experience. Those to me are so beautiful. Like I'll be in that, I'll be sleeping and I'll be like, that was funny. Yeah, that was nice. But at the same time, at the times where I felt my most distant, I wanted to be by myself, is because I didn't want to let anyone in. I didn't want to let anyone in. And I think the reason why I'm saying this is I think there are two I think there's multiple sides, and I think the thing to distinguish it is the person asking it is, why are you saying that? Right? Why are you saying that you can't be by yourself? Is it because you can't be by yourself for two reasons? Is it because you can't be by yourself because you don't want to be, i.e., you have that attachment of, oh my days, I'm scared, I'm da da da. Is it the thing of you don't want to let anyone in, or is it the fact that you're solely like, I understand, which might be rare, but I solely cannot live without my people, whether that be my mum, my partner, my friends, my family. Like I just can't, right? And I think it's a really good question, and it really, if you break it down, it tells you a lot about yourself. Because I bet you now you're thinking like, oh,
No, I'm actually really glad.
yeah,
I also have the tendency to really like to break things down
yeah,
into not simpler, but more to get the actual multifaceted feature that is kind of always wanted in these deep questions, you know, because when you do throw this question at someone, you're usually someone who is you've been comfortable with this person. It's not something that you just ask any random passerby. And so no, I really do appreciate that you broke it down and got behind the forefront of it, because you are right, there is a lot of reasons as to why this question could have been asked, and also it also could have been meant with so many different contexts.
But think about it like this, because this is a good practice for anyone. Because even when you said that, I was like, damn, yeah, I do like being by myself, but like, how much?
All the time?
Yeah. Like how much?
Yeah.
And why only this much?
Yeah.
Like for me, I like being by myself because I like to ponder. Like I like to think about life. I'm very like philosophical in the sense of like, yeah, I'm goofy, don't get me wrong, but when I'm by myself, I really just think. I think about everything. I think about what I did this morning, how I did it, why I did it, you know, why I was so fast to this, and how if I missed this light or I didn't miss this light, would it have affected my choices throughout the day? I think like that. It's really like, it's really exhaustive, to be honest. But it's one of those things that also gives me abundance of clarity.
Yes.
But with life, for me, again, when I'm looking at that, with life, there has to be an element of living, and then there has to be a moment of reflecting.
Definitely.
And you can't do two, both cannot not coexist. They have to coexist. You have to have the good with the bad and the bad with the good. So the good might be the reflecting and the bad might be the living, because so much things happen to you, like, why the hell did this happen to me? But at the same time, living in the reflecting and getting that time to yourself, bro, that's bliss.
Yeah.
That's bliss.
Yeah.
Oh man, look at me, I'm on the sand next to the water. I got a nice shady part in the beach. Like, that's good, man. That's nice. That sounds nice, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And that, I think with life, you need to appreciate both. And I think it's such a good. I think that question that you brought up is such a great way to find out more about yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yes, I agree very much. Thank you for that. I like that I was able to see it through a different lens. It's always very nice to, I always say this, I retell stories so many times, not because I like reliving things that I've experienced, but more of, I really like this breakdown of scenarios. Was I wrong? Was I right and wrong? You know, maybe I was too heated in the moment. Maybe I didn't see different things. So maybe I was too heated in the moment.
But that's still, that's still beautiful, bro. Like that's still nice. Like that's what life is.
Yes.
Like that's
every person and their unique experience.
Bro, like I'm not being funny. I do some dumb stuff every day. Right, I do some dumb. Yesterday. Sorry, this is totally off topic. But yesterday, there was a kid in town and he was crying. And me being me, I was like, "Oh my days, like, are you okay?" Yeah. Then I started thinking. I was like asking him, "Oh, where you from? Like, where's your mom?" And then I was like, "Hold on. At what point does this become a person trying to help versus the outside looking at me thinking this guy's trying to take this?"
Yeah.
Anyway, well, eventually we found his dad. He said thank you, whatever. But my point being, like, sometimes you need to be able to laugh at yourself, and you
Yeah.
need to be able to take the situation, because you don't learn if you don't fail.
Yes.
That's what failure is. It's learning, right? And it's failure. It's like you in life. Even to the point that you got to today, speaking, right? Even the way that you dress. I'm pretty sure when you're a kid, you put on your shoes on the wrong way. Do you know what I mean? You failed multiple times before you put on the right foot and the left foot. Do you know what I'm saying? It's the same with riding a bike. Can you ride a bike?
I do, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you're really proud, right?
Because I learned very late.
Okay, so like, yeah.
So I'm like,
Yeah,
yes, I can say yes now.
Yeah, I could ride a bike. I could ride a bike better than you. Yeah. But like, even in that, like, you failed.
Yes.
You rode around in a couple of circles, and it's good. Like, life is all about that, and what's beautiful about it is giving yourself grace. We don't give ourselves enough grace.
Not enough. Yeah.
Like, yo, I messed up. Okay, my bad. Like, I messed up. Like, cool. You know what I mean? My bad. And the way we receive grace is the way that we should also give it.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying? And naturally, if you give grace, you will receive it as well in abundance.
I agree. I agree very much. To kind of not navigate further, but maybe navigate further, who knows. This, as a starting point, it was the concept of, will you be able to spend every single day with yourself? But that also brings up the main question of, why was this, like, what was the actual meaning of it? How, if you can't be able to start thinking about this and being like, okay, I actually will say no to this question in the context that I was looking at it. And I don't want to say it's a problem, because that means it needs a immediate attention and some sort of panic and havoc to get fixed. And that makes it a super scary thing to approach and visualize realistically. But I think loving yourself is such an important, I don't want to call it an attribute. I think it should be as much part of your life as breathing. I think a relationship with yourself is something that is so important, because if you don't understand yourself, how will you continue doing anything in life that in turn feeds your soul, this thing that you're supposed to understand to gain this purpose that we were talking about? And I think, yeah, I just think it's really important. And I think it's really hard to actively gain information as to how to get there, how, or what the starting line is, what the concept even looks like of loving yourself. And like,
so again, I've had some time to think about this, and I'm going to refer to something I actually spoken about and written before. So I have a younger sister, as I mentioned earlier in this pod, and I actually don't believe, bear with me though, I don't believe in loving yourself.
Okay.
I think you should value yourself.
Okay.
And they're two different things.
Okay.
Only in the concept of, like before, I said before, love is a doing, right? Love is a service for another person. You can't really love yourself, but you can serve something else. That's what love is. Love is pure. Love is not selfish. It's selfless, right? That's your parents to you, your mum to your dad to your mum, your sibling to your other sibling when you stop fighting. You know what I'm saying? It's those things. And I think, so with loving yourself versus value yourself, but love is a feeling, right? It comes and goes. Value is foundational, right? It's like, so love is like the wind. Value is like the bricks in which a house is on, right? So sometimes when you have bad days, and you will have bad days, you might not feel like you love yourself, right? The reason this come about is because, like I said, I have a younger sister, and as I was growing up, I used to see these magazines say, oh, you just need to love yourself, girl, but there's no tangible steps to actually loving yourself. What does that mean? And I used to get so angry. I'm like, what are you saying, bro? Like, that doesn't make sense. Oh, I'm just gonna love myself and now I'm gonna feel better. No, because not unfortunately, but life, sometimes there will be bad days. And on those bad days, it's not about loving, it's about valuing yourself and it's understanding those things that actually do provide value. So, i.e., a lot of people might think, for example, in this world, a lot of people's love or values about how they present themselves, how they look, how they're perceived, and da da da. But actually, value comes in so many forms. The way you converse, the way you talk. Are you a sibling?
Yes, I
Older,
am.
younger?
I'm the eldest
You're the eldest?
of three.
So
Yeah.
I'm sure they might not say how old you. What's the age gap?
2 years and then 8 years.
Right. They might not say it now, but there will be a time when they'll be like, sis, like I appreciate the fact that you was with me. Like you were literally mum before mum. 100%. I know that. My siblings don't appreciate me now. But I'm waiting in 5 years' time. What they say to me, they're like, suts. They call me, in my culture, we have titles. But, so they'll come to me like, suts, like, I remember why you were so adamant on us conversing. I remember why you're so adamant on us coming together as a family. It's because you wanted us to be like that, right? And tying it back into this, there is so much that you provide in value. There's so much that you do towards people and things, and people actually appreciate you. Not the outside world, but the people who are closest to you. And that's the thing that's important. So in life, it's not about loving yourself, it's about valuing yourself. Because value comes from inwards. It comes from the people around you. It comes from your friends, your family, and the people who appreciate you. And it's the things that we don't notice, but they do.
Yeah.
They might say, Malek, you know what? You always got 6 scarves, You always got 6 scarves, bro. Like every time you always got a scarf, or every time I see you, you've got amazing energy. Isn't that way more important than what the outside world says?
Yeah, definitely.
And like even in that sense, like when you're low, when you get really low, right? Like even me, like I have days where I'm not feeling the great. But bro, there's never a day where I thought I'm not funny. there's never a day where I thought, you know what? I'm still funny though. Like I'll be so like if I didn't have all this, I'd still be lit. I'd be fine. I'd still be fine, and I'm okay with that. Like I'm like without my funny, I'm nothing for me. Like that's my value. Like, but I also appreciate the thing in myself in terms of I know that I can converse with anyone. I know I can make someone just about like laugh or giggle, and if I don't make you laugh, I can make myself laugh, and that's enough.
And that's enough.
That's enough. You know what I'm saying? I know that my heart is big enough that I can let things go. And those are things that I value. Those are things that you protect. Those are tangible things that me and myself that are inwards, not outwards. Because all of this doesn't mean anything. Germany, they don't mean anything. But it's the things, it's the characteristics that we manage, right? It's the fact that like you might volunteer on the side, and every time you volunteer, you always show up. You know what I mean? Like in work, people love the fact that you always bring some food in that smells so good and they just want to try it, right? And it's those things that are meaningful within relationships that are so much more valuable than this perceived outside world. But yeah, that's my thing of you shouldn't love yourself, you should value yourself. And if you don't know what your value is, do what you did earlier in this conversation. Ask yourself, what are some things that I like about myself? Like, what are some things I really love about myself? And if you don't know, ask someone close to you. I promise you, ask someone close to you who knows you really well and appreciates you. Just write down 5 things that you appreciate about me. Hold that up, okay? Put it in a jar. Ask 3 to 5 friends if you have that. If you don't, then just ask, a couple. And when you're feeling like those down days, bro, you pick that back up. I promise you'll feel so much better.
That's right. I agree. I really appreciate how I was a bit confused at the beginning when you were like, you can't love yourself, you need to value yourself.
Yeah.
But in terms of viewing it as a big brother, I can see how, and from a big sister view as well, I think this in-depth understanding of the two and how they actually work in practice is such a beautiful and positive way to explain it to youngsters, because yes, it has been tainted by so much at this point, and it's so hard to confuse just in internalizing things is very easy to end up confusing yourself
Mm.
with how you should be treating yourself. So I think it's very nice how you framed it in a positive way.
Yeah, well,
So
it's because, bro, like, even me, I'm a very emotional person. Like, I'm so emotional. Yeah, you might not. Well, you probably could tell, but like, your emotions fluctuate all the time, especially if you're a youngster, bro. Like, if you're from the ages of 14 to about 19, you have probably understood or not understood your emotions. So how are you going to love yourself if you've not actually experienced what true love is or understood what true love is? It's not about love at that point. It's about valuing. It's about finding out who you are and appreciating and being understanding who you are and being confident in who you are. Do you know what I mean?
no, entirely, you're right. I'm 21. I just turned 21,
Mm,
and I only think now, especially now, as you can see, like I'm like, oh, I've just labeled this. It's discernment, and I've
mm,
had this conversation with you. I'm like,
mm,
oh, I can tie it to this episode title. Only now am I able to sit down and be like, when I sit and reflect with myself, because
yeah.
yes, I again, me too. I think that is a very important part of your everyday. It has
Mm,
to be something that you're. Whenever things big or small happen, you always need to reflect what
mm,
happened through your day. And so only now am I able to sit down and talk to myself and be like, oh, by the way, this was anger, this was
mm,
jealousy, this was happiness, this was nervous but excited. So it's, yes, it takes a
mm,
while for you to be like, this means this. And
mm,
this means this to me as well, because that's
mm,
also different.
mm,
But no, yeah, it very positive, and I absolutely love it. But my theory,
yeah.
my self-love theory, not
Yeah.
self-value theory, it was just in terms of for whoever is struggling
Mm,
after that questioning,
mm,
where do you start? How does this process begin?
mm,
And what are you supposed to set in play, set in motion for this action to start flowing? And I think, as ironic as this is going to sound, you learn to love yourself the same way you fall in love with someone else. You show up for yourself in the way you would show up for someone you're terrified of losing.
mm,
You soften, you adjust, you communicate, you listen, you speak to yourself with patience because you are the one who knows how easy it is for you to shut down. And I think a lot of us, regardless of how long this duration actually takes, but a lot of us, very often, when we do experience this falling in love, um, you put this person up on a pedestal.
mm,
And I've said this before. This this sort of weird or like sudden urge that happens when you do experience this falling in love, or so they say, is the projection or like the reflection, the bounce off of what's already within you. You are seeing those things in them and you are nitpicking them. And that's not necessarily to say they are great at them or they have a great capability at positively and healthily showing that to you, but this is what you end up doing. You look for the things that you really like consciously, subconsciously about yourself, and you put those emotions up on a pedestal. So whatever you're looking for in someone, you're actually um or I think in my personal experience is
mm,
actually what you are very deep down um very tirelessly and exhaustingly are trying to bring into the light.
mm,
And I think when you start focusing on those details that you are so timidly trying
mm,
to find in other people, and you're
mm,
looking for them in the wrong ways and obviously getting them the wrong
mm,
ways. And I think you need to pause, stop, and look back at your own self and try to figure out what it is that you want to start seeing more within yourself. And I think that's how you can start to visualize how
mm,
to properly love yourself.
mm. That's so
I
interesting.
think.
No, and no, no, and again, that's not a wrong answer. Like, I think what's what I love about these things is the perspectives. Like, it's not a wrong answer because I think even in terms of, like, what you're saying, like philosophical and almost like these life questions, you won't know until you try. And that's one of the things that I always say as well to people is, this is my experience. Try it. Uh, it works, but this is what I've done that also doesn't work, is because I've tried 1,000 different ways, 1,000 different ways. Only now do I have the clarity because I've tried the 1,000 different ways. And even you saying, "Oh, I think if it works, it works." You know what I'm saying? Like, and
Yeah.
that's cool. I think like with self love, it's about, for me, like I said, I see it as a selfless
Yes.
act. So it's like showing up for yourself, even when it may not be perceived to. So, for example, like your friends might want to go out, but your goal and your purpose is to actually save money and stay in because you know that you're saving that money to then go and travel. You know what I'm saying? Like that's self love. Self love is like, oh my days, I'm actually burnt out, so I am gonna say no, even though it's gonna give me this. I'm gonna say no. That's love. It's setting the boundaries but also protecting yourself and protecting your goal and your purpose, but also like being nice along the way. I think there's a distinction between boundary keeping and maybe being like completely like cutting off people. um right, like
The thing is, I have this saying that I've kind of used within my current life because I feel like I keep doing that. I won't give you one chance. I won't give you two. I'll give you 102, and then after that, I'll tell you to go away or I'll remove myself. And so I
yeah,
try it and try. I really give people a lot of
yeah,
space to do a lot of damage,
yeah.
and then I just have a deal breaker
I
moment.
think it's like you don't really need to give people chances. You just need to like let them be and show. Like for me, the way I handle it is I'll give you an opportunity to show up. If you don't show up, okay, cool. I keep it moving. I still be like, oh, you alright? Okay, and I keep stepping. That's it. But I think, to be honest, men and women, we handle relationships very differently. I feel like men, it takes us 6 weeks to see the same person over 6 weeks. We won't know their name, and then we'll become friends. With girls, you meet each other like that. You're like, oh my days, let's go. You like matcha, I love matcha. Let's go.
I think I agree with that to a certain extent, but I've also feel like I have stopped doing that in terms of where it doesn't
Yeah,
when it becomes more performative and
yeah,
just because I want to stop being not part of a group, then
yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Even if I do like matcha, I could love matcha,
Uh,
but maybe I just don't like matcha with you.
oh, God
And
damn. Even I
and
felt that. To me,
I
kid.
looked to you right
Yeah, yeah. I
now.
was like, whoa. Hey, I don't like matcha either. Like, yeah.
I think and that is what I feel like makes me look like a villain.
Mm.
And it's not that I'm saying I'm not gonna have matcha with you ever. I will, but that also doesn't mean that I'm gonna. I don't know how to explain this, but what I'm trying to say is I'll. I don't know how to explain it.
No, I hear
I
you.
would like to say that it's okay if sometimes you're like, I don't think we click,
Yeah,
and I
that's totally
think
valid.
it is very.
And you should. Like, you should do that. I think what I'm the part that I'm coming from is some people use, for example, they might be like friends with someone, and then there's an element where they're always ruthless to the point of like they're always ever changing, and they just cut people off and off and off, and then they expect that when X, Y, and Z doesn't happen, they then come back.
Oh no,
What
yeah.
I'm trying to say is like, yo, go about your life, do what you need to, be nice along to people along the way, even if you don't kind of agree with them, because there will be a time in life where you'll meet again, right? You will meet again in whatever way. So even if that person wasn't too nice to you, just try your best at least to do the bare minimum of like, alright, bye, have a nice life. Even if you said it kind of sneeringly, have a nice life, whatever, bounce. Then yeah, you'll be alright. Your calm, your karma chick goodness will start coming your way.
That's nice. I
Yeah.
like that. No, I like that. I think you're definitely right.
Mm.
There has to be a certain level of nicety
Yeah.
for your own self.
Yeah. I'm
For
not right. It's not that I'm right. Like I'm not saying I'm right. I'm saying you're wrong. I just that's just how I see.
yeah.
Like
No, but I think that you are right in sense of that even if there is no click, nicety is very important because
yeah.
that is a reflection of who you are.
Don't get me wrong. Like if people have been again, there's always a but if. Like, for example, if
Yeah.
someone's been
I
rude,
personally
said,
think I've been through very
yeah,
exceptional
that's what I'm
circumstances.
saying. Like, if someone said, "I don't like your scarf," I'd be like, "Who the? What do you mean? Do you know how much effort I put? Are you serious? I got this one back up, boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Yeah, I think a lot plays into that. A lot plays into it. How much patience you have, how much angst you end up carrying from letting things slide not once, not twice, 102 times.
Yeah.
I think
That's
there's.
good though. That's really good.
I don't. Yes and no. I think the power to be able to stand firm on your boundaries is very important.
There's always I always look at the positive in what you do,
Yeah.
and there's always a positive in what you do.
But then that means, or at least me,
Yeah.
after the 102, I don't become a very nice person.
Yeah, well, at that point, I mean, it's valid. Just like I said, bro, if you get to a point of, for me, if you get to a point of that person is no longer in your life and you don't see them, for me, it's out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
They don't deserve you. They shouldn't even crush your mind. Man, I'm focusing on this. Yeah? I'm on this. There's this new matcha place that I like with my new friends. That's where I'm going to go. Yeah? And this person ain't even around. So, like, for me, like, that's still fine.
Yeah.
That's still fine. I think it's a problem when you're like, oh, where's she at? Like, where you at? Oh, that's, what are you doing in these matcha territory? This is my matcha territory. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, scrap. That's just the problem.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think people, there's a lot.
But you're valid to keep boundaries.
Yeah.
Valid. Very valid.
Yeah. To wrap up the Newport segment and our very elaborate discussion of self-love, I think that the real shift happens when you stop treating self-love as something you need to earn and start treating it as something you deserve by default. Not because you're perfect or you're impressive, but because you are the person you live with every single day. And I think that's grounded and not delusional at the same time. Thinking and saying out loud, I deserve the version of myself that actually takes care of me, values me, loves me, I think there's a lot of power in that. And I think there is a lot of tigueraje in it as well. Knowing how to handle yourself, knowing how to hold both the strong parts and the flawed parts of yourself without abandoning either, without thinking that one or the other does not deserve love or kindness or softness or any kind of grace. Honestly, it's just very important to learn how to sit with yourself without immediately trying to escape. Again, with the if you can survive on an island with yourself forever, enjoying your company isn't arrogance if done the correct way. And I think there's a lot of emotional maturity that comes with this process. I think you need to be there mentally to be like, okay, to understand it in its entirety. It's clarity, it's responsibility, and responsibility forces growth, which most people avoid at all costs. So go out there and do your thing. That was Newport for self-love. To move on to our final segment, how to change things in yourself you currently aren't happy with, or you just want to change because you want to change. If there's something in yourself you're not happy with, a habit, a mindset, a pattern, the first step is always the same, and it is to ask why. Asking why something bothers you, why it shows up, why it stays, and what the actual source is. Are uncomfortable questions. They're very, very uncomfortable, but that is the only way that things change. And I got a little bit of inspiration from Madeline Argy's podcast, and it was titled How to Change Your Reality. And she says that change doesn't come from wishing, it comes from interrupting your reality. And I have never loved a sentence more. And because so much of anxiety, dissatisfaction, or unhappiness comes from acting like you're a passenger in your own lives instead of an actual participant or the actual guide. If you don't want to be a participant, I don't know if that was the correct word, but small things make a difference. And one of the most grounding practices is to make list every night. That is what I do when I am a little bit, or not a little bit down necessarily, but struggling to um, enjoy the small things in everyday life. I think that really helps with getting out of the mindset of being low, and especially now it's very dark outside, very cold, and I think that with this season, a lot of these feelings do tend to come up. And so I think it's very important that you literally write down the moments that made your heart full. Things that make you smile instantly when you recall them, exactly what you were talking about. And I know it's simple, but it's powerful. It reminds your brain that joy exists every day, which is exactly what you were talking about. Not just when something extraordinary happens. And again, this is a continuation from the October's very own episode. It was a segment that was titled "You Don't Have to Be a Rocking Chair." Motion is not the same as progress, and if you want things to happen, you have to put them into perspective. Any task in life, any goal, any change you want, it needs structure. It needs an architect. And I know people hate that. You think it's crazy to see your brain on a paper. Um, and but the reality is that's exactly how you interrupt your reality. You write down how you want to achieve the thing you want to achieve, you specify it, you challenge it, and you become the architect of your own dreams, because this is something that I've carried with me for so long. If your dreams don't scare you, they aren't big enough.
Ooh, nice.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Nice.
No,
nice.
honestly, I've been scared of a lot of things that I've wanted to achieve. This podcast being one of them.
Yeah.
I had such a numbing feeling in terms of what am I going to do when people actually start listening?
Yeah.
What am I going to do when I'm going to have to make it a little bit bigger and start filming? Do I want to be on camera?
Yeah.
So many things.
What I would say to that, from someone who started their dream and is about 5-6 years into it, great, good, amazing. Just make sure you stay yourself and don't switch up your core beliefs in who you are, what you represent, who you represent, or what you do. That is when it stops becoming a dream and a passion, and it starts feeling like a job. And that's the worst thing that you can ever do. So my advice: keep doing that, keep smiling, keep doing what you're really passionate about and conversing, but don't lose yourself in the process, because it can get really, really, really messy. And if it does get to a point where your head is boiling, take some time out. And if that does mean 6 months, that means 6 months. Like, your life, your career is not over if you take 6 months to a year out. Like, as we said earlier, with life, for example, I had this conversation earlier this year actually with someone about how people get like writer's block, and people get like, they don't feel as creative anymore. So I don't know if you felt like that yet or have or experienced, but they will come to a point where you'll experience that again. And the reason that you stop doing that is because all you're doing is you're becoming a machine. You start to become a machine, and the reason why machines work so well is because they don't do anything but that sole purpose of doing. Whereas us, we're not just doing, we live. We need to live. We need to experience. We need to share. The idea that you got for this podcast today was based off a conversation. So if you're solely locked in this room and you don't interact with the outside world, well, you're never going to expand and grow and actually have a freshness of ideas, because you're not living.
Yeah.
And that same process of like, if you constantly feel like, oh, I need to reach this goal and this metric and this metric, well, again, you're putting yourself on a burnout.
Yeah.
Dreams are good, but what's even more greater is your impact that you do with your platform. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, just keep doing it.
That is beautiful. That is so beautiful. And I think what fits really well into this as well as closing, there's a yearning built into us throughout our lives, but the 20-something yearning, that's sometimes make you feel like it's never ending, that it's this restless sense of wanting more experience, more clarity, more success, more peace. It's exhausting and beautiful at the same time. The solution isn't to suppress the yearning, it's to structure it. You write out what you want, what you're striving to achieve, what you want to be engulfed in. As you said, it's very important that you enjoy what you're doing, that you love what you're doing, and that you are very authentic with it, that you are putting you into it.
Mm.
And then you need to remind yourself to enjoy the moment you're in, because it is also very easy to go completely bonkers when you're trying to get something done that you've been trying for so hard.
So I'm so sorry.
Please go on.
It's only because there will be a time where you will be like, I deserve this. And at that point, it's not your dream, it's your ego.
That's nice. Yeah.
Right? Like, I've had it myself. And to the point I'm like, who's speaking here? Is it me? Or is it the part of me that thinks I deserve it? Sometimes, don't get me wrong, there is an element of like, you deserve what you put in. But there's also an element where you're like, well, why is that person doing that? Oh, they copied my style and they've done this and da-da-da-da. And it's like, again, I'm only saying this from experience. It's just sometimes there will be a point where it won't be just you. It'll be ego coming alongside you.
Yeah.
And ego thinking, oh, but if you don't do this, then you're not going to get this, and you're not going to get this, and you're going to get. Then you go on that trap again of like losing yourself. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's always good to like check in.
Yeah.
How am I? Like, I do this all the time. Yeah. Every month or so, I'm like, okay, the things that I've done, is this serving the purpose that I said it was? Am I still using? My motto is laugh, learn, and inspire. Everything I do, everything that I create, everything that I've done in my life, in my work, has always been in service of laugh, learn, and inspire. Everything. But every so often, I always reflect back. I'm like, did that serve that purpose? Am I serving that purpose? Why am I doing the things that I'm doing? Am I in the? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, am I doing this for the vanity, or am I doing this for the fact that I said that I want to use this as a way that if I, God forbid, I go away tomorrow, people can reflect back and they can feel all those things, right? Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's why it's good that if you're at this position now and you realize what you do now, find yourself. Understand who you are, what you do, what you love, what you like.
They are.
Because it's like, that's what makes you you.
Yes.
And there's a difference between growth and changing who you are.
That was very, very wonderful. And this really, truly shows. You absolutely did not cut me off, because this feeds right into what I was saying. It creates this paradox that it's funny and it's slightly chaotic as well. But what is it when you're 20? It's slightly philosophical, but I feel like it's essentially the conundrum of being in your 20s. You want more constantly, and something that I think is a very good reminder to carry. We have the saying where you say you put it as like earrings on your ears so you remember it. That you have grown up and you have faced so many challenging circumstances, and at every point, your parents, your family, your friends, your loved ones have sat you down and they have told you it will be okay. And they have repeatedly told you that at every phase of your life. And especially the ones that felt like deal breakers, because these have come up and they will continue to come up forever in every form of life experience. And they were right. Every time, every single time, it was okay. It was all right. And you have survived every version of yourself so far. And so the message is simple. But it's not something that we tell ourselves enough. It's calm down. Everything will be okay. Change doesn't always require a crisis. Change requires curiosity and structure. And so write it down, specify it, challenge it. I love this. I love that you need to challenge it for it to change, for you to feel something, that it has to, like, move become something. And so you interrupt it. You interrupt your own reality, not because you hate life or your life, but because you know that it can be even better, or that you want it to be better in general. And that is growth. That is the growth. And so throughout this episode, we kept circling back to the same point. Nothing changes unless you're curious. Self-love, stress, anxiety, boundaries, fulfillment, every single one of them begins with questioning why. The answer isn't found in overthinking, because that kind of sways it more into negativeness. It's more about awareness. That's how I make it more positive, I guess. When you stop outsourcing your emotional life to other people, life becomes less about survival and more about your participation and activeness, and your groundness in the moment and the experience with the people around you. And you learn to handle yourself, not because you're fearless, not because not because of any of these negative things, but more of because you finally trust your own capacity, you value yourself, and your capacity to have a strong confidence that you are able to deal with what will come. So yeah, that is all for today. I really hope you enjoyed being here. It was an absolute honor having you. This topic was absolutely amazing, and just thank you, so grateful.
No, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
So yeah, that is all, dear Novelties listeners. Keep a lookout for the rest of the episodes on this series, and don't forget to show this episode some love. Download, share, and more importantly, don't forget to tune in next week. Bye bye. Thank you.